back with some more fairy tale. And I gotta say, I really like this anime. It brings a certain feeling of peace and happiness whenever I watch fairy tale. It gets a bit tiresome if I have to binge too many episodes, but getting just a few in between other projects is simply perfect for my taste. Many people are not impressed with the humor of this series. Me, however, I find it rather charming. It's childish and superficial, but cute and kinda adorable in its clumsy execution. For example, when Happy is doing the intro for this episode, he's claiming Lucy and her ambition is what got them into this predicament.
Natsu and I were dragged to Galuna Island by a power-hungry Lucy! Don't lie! This was all your idea!
Well, since Happy is a simplistic and one-dimensional kata, and Lucy is a blonde bimbo, I say this is the banter of theirs works rather well, and is present throughout the series, even in the third season.
I keep all my instruments of cruelty!
Is he serious? I bet he's talking about your novel, Lucy!
We're finally starting to get a bit of a plot in this arc. It's certainly not the good, bouncy kind. There's some sad, tragic backstory connected with an immortal demon. As I mentioned before, Gray seems to take center stage, and I'm kinda curious to find out more about him. He does not talk much about himself, and his rivalry with Natsu seems to be his main character trait.
So, like it or not, I'm doing this!
Master ordered me to bring you home. I'll drag you back to Fairy Tale if I have to.
Alongside stripping naked in random places.
You totally scored, Lucy.
Intruder alert! No stripping in my house, buddy!
He's rather hot, and has a badass Batman voice in the dub version.
But let's get something straight. I'm not gonna hold back just because you're a chick.
Well then, I give up. You win.
So yeah, I kinda like him more than Natsu. You see, while any shonen needs to have an obnoxious and optimistic dude to get the franchise, I have little love for Natsu. No, don't get me wrong, he has the best fights in the anime, and is a fun, honorable guy.
You're through, Black Steel! Flame Lotus! Fire Dragon!
When compared with the others, Natsu is the one with the least innovative and intriguing personality. The moment he shines for me is when he defends Yukino and beats the shit out of a whole guild to take revenge for her humiliation.
Any guild that makes a friend cry doesn't get to call itself a guild!
But I'm getting way ahead of myself. Right now we're at the beginning of this awesome fairy tale. As I said, Gray is hot and masculine, almost too manly for me to handle.
He's taking off his clothes! But I'm not ready for this, we just met!
I really don't want to fight a girl, but I will if I have to.
And not to be intimidated by him. At this point in the series, the couples are not formed yet, and Juvia hasn't made her first appearance.
We must be bound by fate. I can't believe I finally found my handsome prince.
They're finally free to see that Lucy and Gray look good together. Strong, muscular brunette with a cute, superficial blonde bimbo is a match made in heaven. Sadly, they both end up with different partners. But I can still hope for some dojinshi, right? Alright, let's get back to the story. As this weird-looking giant ice cube is a prison for the demon Deliora, who according to Gray is out of trouble. Given his reaction when Natsu casually decided to burn the ice away, Gray is obviously stressed out and determined to avoid a confrontation.
Gray just punched Natsu! Well, this wouldn't be the first time he's done that.
What's the deal?
If I mentioned I really like the art style, it's such a retro shonen look. It's so charming just to look at the character design. This was before SAO came along and forever changed the mainstream perception of the shonen aesthetic. Fairy Tail made me nostalgic for a time when anime was rather different, and each title was doing its best to find a certain artistic identity to go along with its diverse concepts. I do like something about Natsu, however. He might not be the brightest or most interesting dude from the team, but his simplistic way of life and basic behavior is something I respect and strive to accomplish as well.
Must be nice. He doesn't have to worry about anything but eating, fighting, and sleeping. Aye, that's Natsu for ya.
Instead of fighting, I would prefer working, however, because violence never brought us anything good, except for anime, where violence is the best answer to all problems. Especially in the shonen genre. By now, it should be obvious that every single main and side character is going to be a complete strange individual, and Lucy still has more sense of spirits to add to her arsenal. We get to Lyra, who seems to be purely pacifist, kind of like that snowman Nikolaus and the snobby walking clock.
Hey, Lyra! Say, how come you never call me anymore? It's not fair. I would love to help you out, but you ignore me, meanie.
Well, this anime is called Fairy Tail, therefore a bunch of spirits and magic is exactly what the show was meant to present. Well, we actually get a song in this episode. Well, I didn't recall this moment, but I guess it's a nice emotional scene. Again, whenever Fairy Tail gets emotional and sad, the anime shows its limitation and inability to properly develop its characters within a cohesive narrative.
They find their way inside you, where they live on forever.
Therefore, it is sort of cringe to see how the show struggles to deliver the feels, but fails on numerous occasions. This backstory of Gray and his master Ur is rather basic and simple. The show tries constantly to make it more epic and meaningful by adding weight to her sacrifice.
Are you gonna be able to keep up, Gray? I warned you, training with me can be tough.
I do however find it clever how they tied Gray's backstory to the release of a demon, with the S-Class mission our gang decided to go. The moonlight has a melting effect on Deliora, and as a side effect it turns villagers into monsters, while these so-called crazy people are chanting to release a demon far beyond their comprehension. It's nice to see Gray get emotional and shed a tear. He's such a macho, tough guy who is bursting with masculinity and bravado, and yet you can see he's a nice, gentle guy underneath his strong exterior. It's like seeing Batman cry. That powerful of a moment.
Gray? What's wrong?
Nothing.
As you can see, I am fanboying for Gray, and he has the most style and demeanor from all the Fairy Tail characters.
Lucy's one of us. I'd rather give my life than hand her over to you.
He'd rather give his life.
Gray and Lucy are the reason Fairy Tail is so damn beloved by girls. Lucy is the blonde princess girls can relate to and feel empowered by her beauty and success, while Gray is the eye candy who brings all the women to the yard.
You're playing dirty.
Well, the story of the moment is a bit convoluted, but I guess I can follow. Something anime excels at in general is having crazy people with absurd motivations. You have to be uncohesive in your thoughts to try and release a demon so powerful with the intent of killing it afterwards. The big reveal of this episode is that Leon, the other disciple of Ur, is the one behind all the rituals to resurrect Deliora. He and Gray are both ice wizards, which can make for some beautiful visuals. Of course, Leon has to be a bit more dangerous than Gray to possess a challenge, and seem a bit more imposing, but once this arc is over, Gray overpowers him easily. I'm really starting to like Gray. If only he was the main dude from the bunch and not Natsu, this anime would have had a way better reception.
He's such a fiery, icy hunk.